We at Alon Planning Partners have a solution. We created a tax calculator just for you. Go to exchangемytaxbill.com. Again, visit exchangemytaxbill.com, input some basic information, and you'll see your tax liability through retirement. We can help you craft a plan that will give you peace of mind to and through your retirement years.
So visit exchangemytaxbill.com to take the next step. Again, exchangemytaxbill.com will help you craft a tax plan to help bring clarity to your financial future.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Imagine a truck that doesn't just own the road, it dominates it. It's not just about the destination, it's about the journey. And our new GMC Sierra is elevating every moment of that journey for me. It's not just a truck, it's a lifestyle. Don Ledford didn't just sell me a truck. They saw the lifestyle I wanted, and they found me that truck.
Choosing the right college is tough. You want to be prepared for the future with high-quality academics taught by caring faculty, while also having a thriving campus experience, and it needs to be affordable. At Lee University, you'll find all that. Plus, everything we do is centered around our faith in Christ. So, if you're looking for a top-tier Christ-centered experience, look no further than Lee University, just down the road in Cleveland, Tennessee.
Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. It is a Wednesday edition here, already in November. Listen, so I had an extended Halloween weekend, and let's just say that my stomach has been haunted.
That's what eating all that candy will do, man.
Goodness gracious, man. I'm going to be fully transparent. You don't want to deal with what I was dealing with. I'm glad I was able to make it in today, was able to make it to work today. But Jacob, first thing, already pointed out, hey, I came in without any eyeballs, so I don't want to hear it back when he had his eye surgery. So
yeah, but at least Jacob didn't bring in photos of his incident like you just did. I mean, come on,
what
man.
What are you talking about?
I mean, come on.
Jim trying to make me look and sound bad here. But so much going on over the Halloween weekend. Of course, high school football. Walker Valley had that big loss against Ray County. Ray County region champs, getting a little help from McMinn. Walker Valley also got a little help from McMinn, being able to host a home playoff game, which we're going to have tomorrow. Thursday got moved to Thursday, so Walker Valley and Tullahoma, that game up at the MAC at Walker Valley High School, will be on Cleveland's Oldies 99.1 as well as Mix 104.1. And then on Friday, you're getting another dose of high school football because Bradley and Jefferson County, they're keeping that Friday date for their game, and the Bears are on the road there at Jefferson County, and we're going to be able to talk with Coach Damon Floyd a little bit later on in today's show. But with everything that happened going back to high school football last weekend to all the crazy, it seems like every week of college football has been crazy this season, continued this past week, and then we got our very first college football playoff rankings came out last night. What a big deal that was, something that we've looked forward to here for a couple of weeks. So with all that football stuff, what better way to start the show than talking Atlanta Braves baseball?
Yeah,
were you ready for that curveball?
I'll be honest.
I saw your notes.
I've been waiting for you to get back because I'm not going to pretend like I know nearly, like not even close to the amount of knowledge that you have about the Braves. And like that broke on Monday, and I was like, I know he's sick, but can we call him? Like, can we get him on here, because he's gonna know everything there is to know about these guys. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into the Braves. I immediately called you after and said, "What do you think? Do you like it? Are you happy?" So let's dive in.
So we're actually, just for the opening segment here, because we are going to talk college football, got to talk about those first college football playoff rankings. But I want to talk about Walt Weiss being hired as manager. For me, as a lifelong Braves fan, and Jacob, I appreciate the love and faith that you have in my Braves knowledge. I was a guy that was in the camp of, please, let's get Walt Weiss and not Lehman from the Dodgers and not so-and-so from elsewhere. Alex Anthopoulos came out and was asked several times, by the way, how many people he interviewed. And he said he talked to a lot of people, but he refused to give a number or an estimate. He said, I wanted to do my due diligence and make sure that I covered all my bases. So he didn't rush into making a decision. And then once the process started, he didn't want to rush to saying, well, as much as I like Walt Weiss and feel like he's the right choice, I still want to make sure I see what's out there. And that's exactly what Alex Anthopoulos did. So he in the role of GM, he did the hiring process justice the way he handled it. As a Braves fan, I appreciate that. Would I have liked to have known Walt Weiss was our manager, when all these other things were being announced and other things going on, and I heard Jacob yesterday make a comment. He said that's kind of a baseball thing, just kind of giving the stage to the World Series and not trying to break. I do think there's some of that going on with Alex Anthopoulos and the Braves organization, but it didn't keep some other teams from announcing moves and doing certain things. And as far as players go, you can't do anything during the World Series. But with coaching positions and GMs and things of that sort, you can. And I think it was a classy move by the Braves organization. But as far as Walt Weiss goes as manager, I know there's a lot of Braves fans that are like, oh, that's more of the same. First of all, Walt Weiss, if you watched his introductory press conference, he kind of talked about like him and Snit balanced each other out because they're very different. And he talked about how he learned to be patient from Brian Snitker, because he's not so much. When he sees something wrong, he wants to go manipulate and get his hands on it and try to fix it. And Snit was more of the type, hey, let's see how this works out, which I'm glad that he was able to learn under Brian Snitker, because that's something that I appreciated about Bobby Cox, something that I loved about Snit, and that's why the players love him. They didn't feel the pressure and the stress that you see from a lot of these other organizations. When things aren't going right, hey, we got to do something right now. They let them work out of their slumps. They let them get their arms back when they're coming back from injury. They don't just say, oh, this is do or die right now. So I do hope he picked that up from Brian Snitker. But all in all, and I'm going to give the floor to you guys to respond to what I've said, but I'm extremely happy with a guy who's very in touch with the way the Atlanta Braves run their organization, a guy who played some phenomenal defense up the middle for 3 seasons for the Atlanta Braves. I remember when the Braves picked him up, and he was on that team with Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones and that bunch back then. That defense was, you talk to Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, defense was such a huge part of their winning formula, and I hope that continues under the leadership of Walt Weiss as manager.
Something that I liked that Chipper Jones said, a lot of people asked her, were you going to throw your hat in the ring? And one of the comments he made was, I'll be honest, man, a lot of guys that baseball just comes easy to, that like it's just natural and it's a God-given talent, don't make good managers because they get frustrated when guys can't go out and do it. Walt Weiss, from what I can see of his career, he's a guy that had to scrap and earn and do all of the little things and be a high motor guy to be able to do what he did in the major leagues. And I think he's going to bring that to the manager role as well. I'm excited. I never thought the manager was the issue of the Braves. I thought it was more of a payroll thing, and AA was asked about it. I say payroll. Keeping talent that was homegrown that went elsewhere and was dominating baseball. Let's just be honest. Like you look at Freddie Freeman, you look at Dansby Swanson, you look at Max Fried, you look at those guys, what they did after they left Atlanta, if you keep those guys together, you're probably looking at another World Series run. And so it's never been a manager thing to me. It's been, are they going to spend? And when AA was asked about that, as a fan, it's frustrating. As a media member, I'm sure it's frustrating. He's not going to tell you how much he's going to spend. He's not going to tell you what he's going to go do in the offseason. He's not going to give you hopes that they're going to go get these guys. He's going to make calculated moves with what he's allowed to do and the payroll that he's given. But what I've heard from the Terry McGurk, thank you, is that the goal is to be a top 5 payroll in baseball. And if that's the case, then I'm excited.
Hey, Dadgum's over here ready to get the Cincinnati Reds on that same payroll, right?
That's not happening in my life, the rest of my life. They were back in the Big Red Machine days. They were one of the higher paid teams, but the way baseball has transitioned over the last 50 years, that's not happening anytime soon. But Walt Weiss is a guy that I think is that's a good hire. Obviously, I was kind of pulling for David Ross, but it's not like it's the end of the world. I think David Ross, I think he's deserving of getting another managerial job at some point, maybe. But no, I think it's good. And, the way that you said that, he understands the way the Braves organization works. So getting someone from outside, I think, could have, upset the way things are done. He understands the way things are done. He knows that there's a way, the Braves way, if you want to call it that. Kind of like the Dodgers, they have the Dodger way, and I think it's good. Obviously, I think you're only as good as the players you put on the field, and if your players are not performing up to par, and if they're getting hurt, the one-loss record suffers, and that's what happened this past year. Injuries. It doomed the Braves. You can't control that. I don't care how good of a manager you are. You can't control that. You just go into 2026 saying, these are our key guys. If we can keep them healthy for the majority of the season, the Braves, they have enough talent. They'll be in the mix the entire season. That's just a fact.
Andy, what can you tell me about the 2 guys we hired from the Mets organization?
So this is something that we're going to get into a little bit deeper. And I'm one of those fans, just like probably a lot of Braves fans, and I'm looking at this and I'm saying, goodness gracious, we just hired 2 guys from the Mets. Like, I look at it with kind of a negative lens, I guess you could say. And the more I dove into it, first of all, these guys are both really young. So to kind of prelude that, it was announced that Rick Cranitz, pitching coach, is not going to return to the Atlanta Braves for next season. And third base coach Freddie Gonzalez, former manager of the Braves, Freddie Gonzalez, is another one who was announced is not returning, which we kind of knew that with him because he was a fill-in role. He was doing Brian Snitker a favor. As it later came out, Snit called him. They're really close, even though he was fired and Snit ended up getting the job after him. They're really good friends, and they worked in the organization. Worked in the organization for a long time together. But Freddie Gonzalez knew pretty much what this role was for this season, and then also first base coach Tom Goodwin were all informed on Monday that they were not going to be returning to the Braves next season. So with that, what Jacob was asking is the 2 guys that they did announce that the Braves hired today. Jeremy Hefner, 39-year-old, pretty young guy to be coaching Major League Baseball. I know 39. You're starting to see the Tony Vitellos as managers, and we've kind of seen a youth movement across not just managerial but entire coaching staffs. But this is a guy who's already pretty seasoned. In 2019, he was assistant pitching coach for the Minnesota Twins. And then in 2020 through this past season, he was with the New York Mets as the pitching coach. And if you look at what they did under his tenure in New York, they were pretty good. There were some collapses late in the season, but a lot of that was, again, Jim mentioned it with some arm issues, some guys going down with injuries, or just the Mets being the Mets and just not producing runs when they need to, and just some very untimely things. But when you look across the board, I believe one of the stats that I saw, his time as the pitching coach for the New York Mets, I think they were 8th as far as the ERA, which is that's upper third.
It's above average.
Yeah, that's upper third. Yeah. So I'm good with that, and it's someone that Walt Weiss had a history with. Got to know him years ago, but he was part of the damage control that the Mets had to do at the end of their season because, yet again, the Mets metted. That needs to be a term.
Totally collapsed.
And so when those things happen, you see this with offensive coordinators in football a lot. You see it with defensive coordinators, or if you're talking about the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver coaches earlier in the season. When things aren't going right, we have to look like we're being proactive and we need to fire people. He was one of the casualties of that, unfortunately. And then the other guy that we hired today was Anton Richardson, which, by the way, both of these guys have some type of connection to the Braves as well. He was named first base coach. He played for the Braves in 2011 and also had a major league stint with the Yankees in 2014 and most recently coached for the Giants and who? The Mets. So two very young guys. Richardson, 42 years old. I say young. Our 20-year-old listeners are saying, what is this guy talking about? But
for managing and coaching in Major League Baseball, that is young.
Yeah, so you've added two guys who've had pretty solid track records in the jobs that they've had. It's still for coaching, as you just said, Jim, at a young age. They've got a good resume. They've got good experience. And of course, Richardson spent that time in the organization and knows – that's where he cut his teeth. So he's coming back home as well. And anytime you can do that, and I believe Richardson, too, is Bohemian. So he's going to kind of have a little bit in common with the Acuñas and the Aussies.
The Latin players.
Yeah, and those guys from the islands. So that's a really cool thing to have on your coaching staff. And I think that was well thought out by Alex Anthopoulos and Walt Weiss.
Something that I thought was interesting, 680 The Fan is trying to tie in a potential, because of these two Mets coaches coming, that there may be somebody
Pistol Pete?
Yeah. Yeah, that may be coming. Could you imagine an offseason where the Mets...
I'm not talking about Pete Maravich, talking about Pete Alonso, by the way.
Yeah. Where the Met we get two Mets coaches and Pete Alonso.
Does Pete Alonso become your DH if that happens? And
well, he's not going to take over first base. You got a Gold Glove there.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm glad you gave a shout out to our friends at 680 The Fan. So Chris Domino of 680 has been pushing for this ever since he read and learned, hey, Pete Alonso's in a contract year. So on the field during BP throughout the season, Chris would always go up to him and say, hey, love to see you in a Braves uniform, and would just drop that nugget out there. As much of a goofball as Mr. Deadlift during the home run derby Pete Alonso is, he's such a productive baseball player, and he can knock the cover off the baseball. So what I love to see him swinging at that short porch, absolutely. I'd love to see Pete Alonso come be a DH. We know we're probably not going to retain Marcell Ozuna. His best days are past.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's a guy that's out there that is a very, very attractive addition, addition.
Is he a free agent right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's interesting.
And again, Alex Anthopoulos came out and said, hey, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to go after some people. So I wanted to lead with this because I'm excited about it.
I can see that.
You guys know that I am, and I know we got a lot of Braves fans out here. And, of course, all of our Braves coverage is presented by Mayfield Dairy. Shout out to Mayfield Dairy for everything they do for us here on the drive. And be sure to visit MayfieldDairy.com.
We also selected the option for Chris Sale, didn't we?
Chris Sale and Ozzie Albies both had team options that were both retained today by the Atlanta Braves. So
yeah, a lot of Braves news in the past, which, right after the World Series, you kind of expect that stuff to start dropping. But a lot of Braves nuggets kind of starting to finally fall after what feels like a month of not really knowing what the future looks like.
On a lighthearted note, anyone like me that's a Braves fan that follows all these different Braves fan pages out there and stuff, I'm sick and tired of seeing Freddie Freeman do the worm.
Yeah,
have you seen that?
Me too.
So he's celebrating his World Series title with the Dodgers, and that has just gone absolutely viral of Freddie Freeman doing probably the one and only. I take that back. Probably one of two dance moves that he knows. The other one is the sprinkler. But I'm happy for Freddie. Freddie's a great guy. I'm happy. Just being 100% honest, and I think I said this during the World Series. I'm happy that Clayton Kershaw got to go out the way that he did because Clayton Kershaw's a good dude. He not only was he a phenomenal talent and baseball player and pitcher and just no doubt first ballot Hall of Famer, but just a good guy. So I'm happy for individuals, but I still hate the dadgum Dodgers. I'll go ahead and say that on air.
Well, the good thing about Clayton Kershaw is our last memory of him was him being successful, getting out of that big time, situation.
It was an important role.
Oh, he only pitched, 2/3 of an inning? Was it just 2/3? It doesn't matter. He got the job done. Had he not, they lose that game, they lose the World Series.
Well, he was warming up in Game 7, and I literally was like, please don't.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
I said, please don't. If his career ends with a Blue Jays walk-off, like that would be tough.
Yeah,
that would be so. And in that sense, again, not happy for the Dodgers, happy for him and how he ended his career. Last question, and then we can go to break. What do you think the Braves do at shortstop? Are there any big moves out there, or is it another Band-Aid for a year?
I don't think
they make a trade.
I don't think it's a Band-Aid, and obviously it's not Ha-Seong Kim because he opted out of some pretty good money for a year. Now, not to say that it's impossible that maybe they come back to the table and say, hey, we want something a little longer. If you can give us 3 years, what can you guys do for us? That's not outside the realm of possibility. But and you nailed it, Jim. You're already on the right train of thought here. I think you're going to make a move for somebody, and I don't know. There might be a guy who has some experience being the Braves shortstop that went to another team with his wife playing another sport. It's possible. I've read and seen some things on that because – again, like where are the Cubs right now? They kind of had a head scratcher going into the postseason, like solid year, and yet now they're like I'm hearing rumors that they're going to start breaking down some of the older pieces. Like, who are your older guys on the Cubs?
Well, I don't know about that, but here's the thing: you got talented players all across Major League Baseball, and some teams that probably aren't in contention in 2026, and you start looking at those teams, I'm saying, look, I don't know who the Pirates have. I don't know who the Royals have, or the White Sox, or the Rockies, or someone like that. But if they could pony up and maybe trade some prospects for a guy that's going to be at least an upgrade offensively and can play decent defense, then that's what you do. And if it's for 1 year or 2 years, that's fine. At some point, you've got to find yourself that franchise shortstop. Whether that happens in 2026, I don't know.
I forgot, and I had to look it up, but Bo Bichette of the Toronto Blue Jays is a free agent.
That wouldn't be a bad
That would be
one.
a great pickup for the Atlanta Braves. But, hey, I know we talked a lot of baseball, and Jacob got me going because he asked me questions. But when we come back, we are going to talk about the very first official college football playoff ranking and some teams in some places here that a lot of people are kind of frustrated about, one of them being My Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. We're going to talk about that all when we come back.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
All right, Mr. Gobbles, it's that time of year again. Got any last requests? What? You want a smoking hot deal on a new Kia? Mucho dinero for your trade and your credit pardon? Well, you're gonna have to come to Kia Cleveland today. This is John Davis, the trade-in man at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway, with great news for turkeys. Kia Cleveland will pay you up to $7,000 over Kelly Blue Book market value for your old turkey that you're driving. That's right, up to $7,000 for any trade in any condition, and we'll buy your car for cash, even if you don't buy a car from us. Got foul credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders will say yes to you and yes to your situation. So quit your old car, cold turkey, and get up to $7,000 for any trade in any condition. Come see me, John Davis, at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where trading your car is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Negative trade equity finance with a new loan subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
KiaofCleveland.com.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon raisin biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Mix 1041 is celebrating 25 years of being your home for the UT Vols. A quarter of a century of Go Vols. As part of our celebration, our family of stations are giving you an opportunity to win tickets to every UT football game this season, home and away. We're giving away home game tickets on UT Ticket Tuesday, presented by TVFCU. Road game tickets will be given away each Monday before a road game, presented by USS. For all the details on Vols 25, visit ESPNCleveland1013.com. ESPN Cleveland 1013 is powered by Duracell. When you need a new roof, it's all about trust. Your home is too big an investment and you can't afford to make a mistake. Cleveland Plywood has the products and expertise you're looking for. Contractors have trusted them for over 50 years, and they carry only proven products from reputable suppliers like IKO. IKO Cambridge is one of the heaviest weight asphalt shingles you can buy, and their limited warranties are among the industry's best. Protect the investment you've made in your home. Go with the pros at Cleveland Plywood. 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland. Call 472-3357.
Hey, this is Alfonso, the General Manager of Crown Cleveland, your local home for Jeep and Ram. I'm here to announce that we have revamped our express lane. We are fully staffed and ready to take care of all your quick lube and oil needs. Please Google Crown Cleveland and see our great service specials.
Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Visit milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 per hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com.
And with that, this is the segment that everybody's been waiting for, but especially Jim Gum over here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because his Ohio State Buckeyes come in. And I heard you kind of question this. You thought that maybe Indiana would.
I thought Indiana might. I really did. I thought Indiana might get that number one slot. I think it was close.
Yeah, so the Buckeyes come in as the number one team in the country in the very first college football playoff rankings, and Indiana coming in at number 2, number 3, Texas A&M, number 4, Roll Tide, Alabama, number 5, how about them dogs, Georgia Bulldogs? Mason, you excited about that being at number 5? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I like it. Honestly, I said that they could. I thought they should probably be a little bit lower just because they've squeaked by so many teams. Like, they haven't been consistent. So sitting at 5, I think you have the resume for it. You can't not put them in front of Ole Miss.
Oh,
so,
yeah, head to head.
Yeah. And so with Ole Miss being right a few spots behind
Makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, Ole Miss sitting at number 6. BYU, the Storm and Mormons, sitting there at number 7. Number 8, Texas Tech. Number 9, Oregon. Number 10, Notre Dame. Number 11, Texas. And number 12, Oklahoma. At 13, Utah. But this is one of the things that really caught everybody off guard. Of the non-traditional power conferences, Memphis was your highest-ranked team, and they were what, Jim?
Oh, they were unranked.
Unranked.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't know if y'all know, it's the first time ever in the history of the college football playoffs, it started in 2014 as far as their rankings, that at least one group of 5 team did not show up in the top 25. It's the first time ever. But Memphis is the default because obviously they released their top 25. They actually rank more than 25, and they just don't release those. So they were the highest rated team that from a group of 5 conference.
And so this is the next thing I'm going to ask you guys. looking at these rankings, and of course Tennessee, for our Vols fans, did come in ranked at number 25, the only 3-loss team in the top 25, which
ruffled some feathers.
And I want to argue on behalf of Tennessee. Like, you lost to an Oklahoma team in a game that you probably could have, should have won. Oklahoma's sitting at 12. So I think that they're paying attention to the matchups, which as a college football fan and someone that does pay attention to that stuff, I'm glad that we're not, and Jacob mentioned this, I believe, last week, that we don't have that chick that voted for LSU or for Florida after they got beat. Like, that doesn't happen with the playoff committee. That doesn't happen. These people are leaving just about they're turning over every stone they can.
They're supposed to be turning over every stone.
Well, you look at Tennessee, their losses are to number 4 Alabama, to number 5 Georgia in overtime, and to number 12 Oklahoma.
My only problem with Tennessee, who have they beat?
Their best win is over Mississippi State.
Yeah,
that's their best win.
Well, I mean, and see, that's going to be an argument. That's what's going to boil down to a lot of this, and that's why there's some teams, and unfortunately, I feel like that's how your Irish are. You're trusting everybody else to do their job and to win. Like, you're trusting USC to win out. You're trusting and hopefully beating Pitt, and then that they win out in their schedule, and those are your key mark wins.
Well, I would agree with that. And just in defense of my Irish here, as I've got to step up and do, did have a dominant win over USC, who comes in ranked number 19.
Right.
And then if you get that one against Pitt, that's 2. Right now, Tennessee's probably not, outside of Vanderbilt, not going to have an opportunity for a quality win.
Right, but I'm also saying USC could go and start laying some eggs. They've got some big games coming up, and they could easily be unranked. Pitt could lose to you guys and fall off the wagon, and then you're sitting in the same position. You know, it's when the end of this is all over, it's going to be really tough for not just your Irish, a couple different teams, and it's going to be stacking resume against resume.
Here's USC's schedule the rest of the way, and it's pretty daunting if you ask me. They got Northwestern on Friday night, by the way. Friday night football.
Friday night games are spooky,
on
too.
Fox. So they're going to host Northwestern, host Iowa, who plays, by the way, a big game against Oregon.
Iowa's ranked number 20.
Yeah, and then USC goes to Oregon. Okay, so you got back-to-back ranked teams right there, and then, of course, you end the season with a UCLA team that we know is much better than their record indicates, and they've played much better.
And it's a rivalry game.
So if USC goes through that unscathed, they'll rocket up the rankings.
Really, they're finishing the season with 2 rivalry games. USC and Oregon don't like each other.
No, they don't
at all.
There's
and
a lot
of Southern California kids on that Oregon roster, by the way. A lot.
You want to talk about recruiting battles for the last 20 years? Out west, it normally falls down to those 2 schools if you're a top talent.
Yep.
And so they don't like each other. And then you finish with UCLA. To me, I liked Notre Dame at 10. I think that's an appropriate rating. The problem is I think they don't control whether they move up or down.
Well, here's the thing. You got BYU and Texas Tech. They're playing each other this weekend. So one of those teams ahead of Notre Dame is going to lose.
Yeah.
And so that's a fact. So
that's number 7 BYU and number 8 Texas Tech.
Oregon is playing at Iowa. Now, Iowa's a ranked, so that's 2 ranked teams there. Obviously, if Oregon wins, they'll stay ahead. But if they lose, Notre Dame can shoot up another notch there. So if Notre Dame, this is my opinion, if Notre Dame wins out, they're in the playoffs. They will be the highest rated 2-loss team in all likelihood at the end of the regular season. Now, what happens in conference championship games? Will a 2-loss team win a conference championship game and then shoot ahead of Notre Dame? Very possible. Very possible.
Hold on, though. Hold that. Because there are teams that are going to play more ranked teams that could shoot up the list. Like an Oklahoma, who do they end their season with?
Texas.
Well, no, they've already played.
That's right. Red River shootout. That's right.
I'll give you Oklahoma's schedule right here.
Oklahoma ends with LSU.
Oklahoma, they're off this week. They've got at Alabama, against Missouri, and versus LSU. So if they win those 3 games, those are 3 quality wins.
And so do they hop over Notre Dame?
Probably.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, there are certain teams out here that have resume builders left on the schedule. I'm not trying to pick on your. I'm just.
I love it. I'm here for it.
I'm talking in general. There are people with resume builders left on their schedule. Like, what does Miami have left on the schedule?
Well, it's not just Notre Dame. It's Texas with 2 losses. It's Oklahoma with 2 losses. It's Utah with 2 losses.
Texas goes into Athens and wins.
Yeah, I mean, so you definitely got teams like that could, if they sweep, they have to sweep those games.
Yeah.
If they have just one, if they stub their toe once,
but
they're out of the mix.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think you can say if Notre Dame wins out, they're in the playoffs. I don't think they have control of that.
Well, I still believe that they will. I still believe they do.
I think it's probable.
I think it's very
I can agree with that. It's probable. My stance this whole time has been they don't control what happens, and that's a scary place to be in.
But like I said, you've got a game this weekend, BYU and Texas Tech. One of those teams is good to
right,
lose.
but
And Notre Dame. So there's already dominant.
One loss.
I know, but there's already dominant. That'd be two for
not
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Not for BYU.
So, yeah. But like I said, so there's dominoes ahead of you and dominoes behind you. But at the end of the day, I think even with things happening above you and below you, I think Notre Dame, if they win out, I do believe that they will get in.
So Notre Dame currently is the highest ranked 2-loss team,
Yep.
but there's 4 of them in a row there: Notre Dame, Texas, Oklahoma, and Utah, all with 2 losses. So the way I'm looking at this, you've got, when you go up above them to your 1-loss teams, you've got Alabama at 4, Georgia at 5, Ole Miss at 6, Texas Tech at 8, and Oregon at 9. So between those teams with 1 loss, if you do your job, going off of what Jim said, not to mention, so like looking at some of these other team schedules, like Oklahoma and Alabama got to play each other. That game's coming up. Someone's going to win that game. Someone's going to lose that game.
Yep.
That's going to affect this.
This could eliminate Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Or it could slide them ahead of Notre Dame.
So typically,
we get that.
typically the way that works, let's say that Alabama loses that game to Oklahoma and becomes a 2-loss team, and that loss is more recent, and Notre Dame has won 10 games in a row. Typically, Notre Dame would then be ahead of Alabama, even though they both have 2 losses.
At that point, the loss to Florida State kills Alabama.
It does.
Because Notre Dame's going to say, look who we lost to, look who you lost to. You know, and it's going to – Notre Dame will have 2 what you call better losses.
The only problem with that is we're talking about people in front of us. We're also not acknowledging that there's a 1-loss Virginia behind you. There's a 1-loss Georgia Tech behind you. There's a 1-loss Louisville behind you. There's a
Georgia Tech.
There's a no-loss BYU in front of you. If they lose, they're not sliding past a 2-loss Notre Dame.
Oh, no. You're 100% right. I see both sides. I do. I see what you're saying, Jacob. But I also believe that Notre Dame, if they continue to play like they have been, and Love is on his way to winning a Heisman Trophy, I think that Notre Dame would be in very good standing with the selection committee.
Which would be crazy because that would continue the streak. I don't know if fans the years of 5.
Yeah,
so
the years of 5.
Since the Heisman Trophy has been released, every year that ends with a 5, a running back has won it since 1935. Isn't that wild?
In my opinion, and I'm not a Notre Dame fan, I think he should be the Heisman favorite. But I look at these lists, and it's a bunch of quarterbacks. It's nothing but quarterbacks. I'm like, this guy is single-handedly leading Notre Dame to win after win after win, and he is a beast. He is a beast out there.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want any part of Notre Dame. As an Ohio State guy, I'd much rather play a lot of these other teams, because Notre Dame, with that running attack and that physical offensive and defensive line they've got, I think that's the scariest team for me. Just someone that's looking at it.
I'll say this. I think that the progression of C.J. Carr has been the difference for Notre Dame, and I think that's something the committee says, listen, when they lost that one possession game down at Miami week 1, C.J. Carr had never taken a snap before at the collegiate level. I think they've paid attention to that and watched his progression. Now, a lot of Notre Dame fans feel like the game last week against Boston College was really sloppy. And when you watch it, it kind of felt that way. But when you look at the stat sheet, it was dominant.
Yeah.
And whenever you can look sloppy and win dominantly, that's a good recipe. And listen, I'm not saying a win over a 1-7 Boston College is a big deal. It's when you're on your off days and you can still dominate. And he threw for I believe it was over 300 yards. And when you can do that in a game where it just didn't feel like they were on their A game today, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, so a couple nuggets from the rankings. Texas Tech and Vanderbilt Very first time they've ever made the college football playoff rankings. So
Vandy's still looking to make some noise, guys.
Yeah.
Sitting at 7-2, ranked number 16.
Problem is there's just all these 2-loss teams that are sitting there, and they're fighting for 11 spots. Because at the end of the day, if Memphis takes care of business, which I hope to God they do, you want to know why?
If you want the chaos?
No, if this plays out, Georgia stays 5. They're hosting Memphis, who's Memphis's coach had something to say about Georgia's program earlier in the offseason.
I forgot about that.
I hope.
Got our Bulldog fired up over here.
I hope to everything that Memphis
I remember
shows
you
up-
saying something about that.
shows up in Athens. How funny would that
Well,
be?
I think this needs to be, just like we learned last year, hey, maybe our conference champs don't deserve a top 4 spot if they're not a top 4 team. I hope we learn something from this year. And if we have a non-power conference contender that is not ranked, if we don't have any of those teams ranked in the top 25, maybe they're not deserving of making the college football playoff.
Okay, let me say something. That has never happened. You know why?
Because they fought to get this.
Yeah, if these the MAC, the Mid American Conference, the Mountain West, the American Athletic Sun Belt, Conference USA, they had to vote to approve the 12-team playoff. It had to be. It's 100%. Had to be 100%. They got 100% with one caveat: we get access. We get access. You got to promise just one. And I get it. So they deserve
The
it.
problem is with this, now that we're seeing it and living it for the first time where we've not had any of them ranked, like the UC.
No, this is the only time it's ever happened.
That's what I'm saying. It's the first time.
And next week there probably will be one.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's the first time that none of them have been ranked. So the problem is, over the last sample size that we've got, UCF or Boise State or whoever, Cincinnati, whoever you want to throw out there, we've always had one of those teams that you're like, you know what, they're deserving. What if they could? Like, I was one of those people. I was like, man, like, give them a shot. Like, are you trying to tell me if I'm on UCF's team, even if you go undefeated and you beat the SEC team or the ACC team on your schedule, that you do not have a shot at all at any point in your season to compete for a national title? I thought that sucked. I didn't like that. But when you've got losses under your belt and you don't have credible wins and you're not in the top 25, I think there needs to be a conversation saying, well, hey, this is one of those weird years where, you know what, maybe due to the portal, maybe due to NIL, since Vandy's relevant now, since Indiana's relevant now, and you're seeing so much more depth across all the leagues, maybe one of these non-power teams shouldn't get in.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to join. Here's the thing. I'm shocked that I'm even saying this. I think I'm going to join with Jim that like it was there. It was presented. And, like, I had a problem with teams getting left out when it was 4 teams because you could argue with 5 or 6. You could argue the year that Georgia lost the SEC championship that they were one of the best 4 teams in the
when
country.
you're not good enough to be in the 25, top 25, that's terrible.
My thing is, though, like, it was a deal. It happened. We're here, and there are 11 teams out there that have a chance to go win it.
Okay. We got James Madison sitting there 7-1, not ranked. They've only got 1 loss. You've got Navy with 1 loss, Memphis with 1 loss, North Texas with 1 loss. By the way, North Texas leading the country in scoring. They're the number 1 scoring team in the entire country.
So what happens when you play high school teams.
You got San Diego State with 1 loss. If they go 11-1 or 12-1, they'll be ranked. They will be. Listen, we've had 67 rankings ever. The first 66 had a G5 team ranked. This is the first one. And next week, we probably will have a team ranked, a G5 team ranked.
But I'm like, I say that I say like I agree because it was what was determined. I don't agree with it personally. Like, do I think last year was kind of an anomaly? Ashton Genty was Boise State. He is what carried their program. I don't think there's very many Ashton Gentys on Memphis. I don't think there's very many Ashton Gentys at James Madison.
Yeah, we don't know a lot of their names
But
if
have
they
you
exist.
seen the quarterback at North Texas, guys?
Yeah, he's good.
He's killing it.
I don't know his name.
I don't know
though.
his name either. But you know what?
He'll be on an SEC.
He'll be on some unless he's a senior. I think he's a junior.
I thought Jacob was about to say he's going to be on the back of a milk carton.
He'll probably be on a major conference roster next year.
He might be in North Texas because he'll be
lost football player needs a new home. Back of a milk carton. Mark it down. He'll be somewhere else.
None of us knew Joey Aguilar this time last year.
Hey, Joey Football, like that guy, doing good things up there in Knoxville.
A little more interceptions than we'd
Hey,
like.
real quick before we go to break, since you guys have been nice on my return today and we've talked a little Notre Dame, I want to throw this out there. Notre Dame and Auburn have agreed to a home-and-home series in 27 and 28, and I'm a huge fan of that. And to all those people that say, hey, Notre Dame doesn't play anybody, all that old SEC narrative that Notre Dame doesn't play anybody and they get favoritism, these are teams that Notre Dame has scheduled over the next 10 years. Wisconsin, Florida State, Miami, Auburn, Clemson, Texas, Arkansas, Alabama, Florida, and Michigan. So with that, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to have Bradley Central head football coach Damon Floyd.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
When competition is fierce, sports injuries happen, and Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Saturday sports clinics are available at our Chattanooga and Cleveland offices from August 23rd through November 8th for the treatment of non-emergency orthopedic injuries like sprains, strains, and fractures. Doors open at 9 a.m., no appointment needed to be seen by our highly trained physicians and clinical staff. Saturday sports clinic dates are subject to change. Check sportmed.com for the latest information. That's sportmed.com.
Cleveland, the all-new Select Flooring and Remodeling is now open at 5555 North Lee Highway. We carry the top flooring brands you know and trust: Mohawk, Shaw, Engineer Floors, and United Weavers. We also specialize in home remodeling and roofing, delivering quality you can count on. Take advantage of 24 months interest-free credit. Come see us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 2. Call us today at 423-889-3007. That's Select Flooring and Remodeling, 5555 North Lee Highway, Cleveland. From the floors to the roof, we've got you covered.
At Lee University, homecoming is more than a weekend. It's a homecoming of the heart. We invite all of our alumni and friends to join us for Lee University Homecoming 2025 this weekend, November 7th and November 8th. Reconnect with classmates and professors. Enjoy outstanding music from our ensembles at Traditions of Lee. Cheer on the volleyball team and the men's and women's basketball teams. Enjoy the homecoming parade and celebrate 60 years of vocal excellence with Ladies of Lee. So whether it's your first time back or your 50th class reunion, this is your moment to come home, to celebrate, to reflect, and to dream forward. Join us for Lee University Homecoming, because the story isn't finished and you're a vital part of the next chapter.
Cleveland Tire Center for over 45 years with the best name in tires: Bridgestone, Firestone, Goodyear, and Michelin. North Lee Highway, Cleveland. Cleveland Tire Center, where the name says it all.
Mix 1041 and Honda of Cleveland are teaming up to give one deserving teacher in our local area the chance to win a 2025 Honda Civic LX. Nominate your favorite teacher at mymix1041.com or on the Mix 1041 app.
Need cash? Check. Behind on bills? Check. Unexpected car repair, broken appliance, surprise vet bill? Check, check, and check. Time to check into Cash, your one-stop money shop. Check all the boxes all in one place. From payday loans to flex lines of credit, we've got solutions that move with you. The process is simple, quick, and designed to get you the help you need fast. If you've been approved, you can leave with cash in hand. Check Into Cash also offers check cashing, money orders, wire transfers, and even gift card buyback. Check your worries at the door and check into a store to apply. We have stores in the Chattanooga area, including Cleveland and Athens. Or visit checkintocash.com to get started today. Check Into Cash. We fund today to make a better tomorrow. Subject to state regulations, eligibility, credit check, underwriting, and approval. Rates, restrictions, and fees apply. Visit the store for details. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
When it it comes to Mayfield Dairy Ice Cream, you'll never have a boring bite. Pick some up today at your local grocery store and learn more at MayfieldDairy.com. With that, we've got Bradley Central head football coach Damon Floyd on the line with us again a day early this week because we've got some coverage issues going on with some games being rescheduled for tomorrow. But one of those games is not the Bears. You guys are still playing on Friday, right, Coach?
Yes, as far as I know, I've not heard anything from Jeff County, so we're good to go on Friday.
Well, Coach, man, I got to ask you, man, how is your team? How's the health of your team going into the postseason?
We're pretty. Kenyon's finally back to 100%, so that ought to help us a little bit. But yeah, I mean, obviously, everybody's got some nicks and bruises, but totally different than last year. We had tons of injuries. This year, we've been very fortunate, and everybody's ready to go for Friday.
Coach, that's great news hearing about Kenyon. Of course, Kenyon Phelps, such a dynamic playmaker for your offense. If you could, just kind of let us know. I believe it was last week you said he was around 75, 80%. What has this journey for him been like getting back to 100%?
Well, it's been very frustrating for him personally. I mean, us as a team as well. He's such a great kid, and he's worked extremely hard in the weight room. He did a lot of speed training on his own. So, he was really ready and excited for the season, and obviously started off the year really good. And then, when you have a turned ankle, it's just hard to get over it, a skill position, especially running back. And it seems like every time he kind of went back in, he wanted to play, and that's the good thing. And it showed his toughness because he wasn't the kid that just wanted to sit out a game. So we would try to play him and get him some reps, but he just never was 100%. He was frustrated. But I do give him, like I said, I give him a lot of credit because he's not a kid that just wanted to sit out. Like, he wanted to help his team. And, but like I said, he's 100% now. And so we're good to go. And looking back on it, everything happens for a reason. Other guys got some opportunities. And I think in the long run, it helps your team, going forward.
Coach, last week you talked about playing to a standard and not playing to the opponent. Do you feel like you did that on Friday night against Bearden?
At times. I mean, if we're all being realistic, our kids know Bearden's record. So, I mean, obviously we're very honest with them. We told them, hey, look, we're more talented, but, we still need to go play the game and that kind of thing. But they're high school kids and they're humans. And so I think there was a lot of times that we relaxed, but we got away with it just because we were more talented. So obviously that will not be the case in any game you play in the playoffs. I mean, it's 6-day football and teams are really good. So, we did get away with it against Bearden, and I say that I don't want to sound too negative because we did do a lot of good things as well.
How do you think you match up against Jefferson County?
I think it's a good matchup for us. That you look in that region, and obviously the West Ridge is the 4th seed, and they're not as talented as some of the other teams. Dobbin's been at Science Hill. We got to see Science Hill on film because they played Maryville right before us. So, really talented team, and. We've had a history with these teams because of when we played in the Super 32, we were actually in the same region for 2 years, and then we've matched up with them in the playoffs, year after year. So it's a very typical Jefferson County football team. They're a tough, hard-nosed, physical football team, first of all. And Spencer Riley, their head coach, who was, we played center for Tennessee when they won the national championship, played in the pros for a little bit. So obviously their run game is very good. That's what they lean on. But they have some really good athletes. They got 2 receivers that really scare you. They can both go vertical. Those guys also play defense, so they got good speed in the secondary. And then, defensively, they're physical. I mean, they get after it. So, like I mentioned before, they're a very good team. They're very well coached, and they got some guys that give you some problems.
Once again, we're joined by Bradley Central head football coach Damon Floyd here on The Drive. And, Coach Floyd, I want to ask you, I know you've got a couple guys over there in your locker room that are capable of playing the quarterback position. Is that something right now that you're kind of holding the cards a little close to the vest, what you're going to do in this first round of the playoffs?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. We got a few things that we've been kind of waiting on, holding on to. But, yeah, if you've seen us play, it's pretty obvious both guys will play. We actually have a region meeting Tuesday. We all met in Knoxville as coaches of all of our region and vote on superlatives and that kind of thing. But and they were kind of asking. I'm like, look, I'm not telling y'all. Some of y'all are going to be friends with Spencer. I get it. Like the head coach at Jeff County, I'm not telling you everything. I can just tell you, we got 2 quarterbacks. So both those guys will play, and we got different packages for both of them.
Well, Coach, man, I tell you what, we're all excited about your prospects of going up there and playing well and having an opportunity to go deep into the playoffs. I feel like Bradley's the defense. We talk about this all the time. Defense travels, and if your defense plays up to their potential, I think Bradley can play with anybody.
I agree, and I'll be honest with you here. Like, in the regular season, when you play teams, there's certain things you want to put on film, and we probably were a little loose with the ball, throwing it around, taking some shots, running some different routes. That some of that stuff's going to change in the playoffs. Like, we understand you got to play good defense, you got to run the football, you got to throw it, but it's about running the football and playing defense in the playoffs. So, play call and play change a little bit, and I think everybody's pretty much that way. Once the weather changes, and like I said, you start going deep in the playoffs, you got to run the football and stop the run.
Coach Floyd, man, always good to have you on the show with us and enjoy kind of hearing what's going on with the Bears, and definitely excited for you guys for Friday night. Hope you guys come back with the W, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We're excited. If you're not excited playoff time, you don't need to be in it because it's a restart to the year, and our guys are excited, so it should be fun Friday.
All right, good luck, Coach. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Once again, that was Bradley Central head football coach Damon Floyd, and excited for the Bears' opportunity. First-round game there at Jefferson County on Friday. They have not moved that game. It is on Friday, so if you're a Bradley football fan or wanting to go see some good football on Friday, after you see some Thursday night playoff football, hit the road, go on up and support the Bears. But with that, we're going to send it over to Jim Gum for Inside the SEC.
Inside the SEC, and of course, yesterday the selection
sponsored by Southern Heritage Bank. We got to get that in
there. Southern Heritage Bank, of course. My bad. I've got it right here in front of me, and I just didn't say it. Obviously, last night the selection committee released their top 25 in the college football playoffs, and obviously the SEC was very well represented with 9 teams. However, there was one team that made its very first appearance ever in the college football playoffs, and that was Vanderbilt. Of course, Texas Tech was also the first-timer. So there's now been 90 different teams have been had an appearance in the college football playoffs rankings that began back in 2014. The SEC now has all 16 teams that are in the SEC right now, of course, including Oklahoma and Texas, that have made at least one appearance in the college football rankings. The Big Ten also has 16 teams that have made it, but there are 2 schools in Big Ten that have never made it, that being Maryland and Rutgers. So the SEC right now, the only league in the country that can boast that all 16 members, 100% of their membership, has made at least one appearance in the college football playoff rankings.
Someone needs to call Maryland and Rutgers and tell them to pull their weight.
Well, Maryland and Rutgers are so funny. They'll feast on their non-conference foes. They almost every year they go 3-0. Then they get into league play, and it's a loss here, a loss there. Now they're sitting there at 3-5 or 2-6 because they can't win league games. You listen. We're talking about the first rankings coming out in early November. You better have, 2 or fewer losses to make it in, although Tennessee got in with 3. But usually it's 2 or fewer losses get in there. So you better be playing good football all season long to make the rankings.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I'm really excited about these high school football playoff games coming up. Of course, tomorrow, Walker Valley versus Tullahoma up there at the MAC. You'll be able to catch me and Jacob on the call for that one on Oldies 99.1, also on Mix 104.1. And then Friday night, we just talked to Coach Floyd. The Bears make their way up to Jeff County, and that game will be right here on ESPN Cleveland on Friday, as well as Mix 104.1. So going double coverage for both of those games Thursday up at Walker Valley, and then Friday the Bears at Jeff County.
Yeah, man, super excited. Hopefully the goal is to be practicing on Thanksgiving, and I hope both of these teams in town are eating a good meal together on that Thursday so that, you keep on advancing. Each team's got a tough road ahead, so good luck to both of those squads.
And, of course, we will be originating the drive from the press box tomorrow, a full hour show from the press box tomorrow in anticipation of that big game. And I'm going to ask you guys a question. You may not know the answer. Jefferson County, do you know if they play on natural turf or artificial? Have an artificial?
I do not know the answer to that.
Because it seems like every high school game now is on artificial turf. I'm just curious if they've got natural turf.
Jim, you know what kind of question that is? That was a Damon Floyd question. Is the kind of question that was.
I thought about it, after the fact. Well, I'm just curious because I would think that they would actually enjoy a game on natural turf. It's just a little bit more forgiving. I was
on the joints. It definitely is. There's no doubt about it.
I just didn't know if you guys knew the answer to that. So anyway,
well, hey,
I love putting these guys on the spot.
Hey, I'm excited. I'm going to get in the car. Finish Line Radio's coming up. My boy Kyle Larson won the championship. I text Jamie Kyle.
There's some sad NASCAR fans out there, though.
I know. I get it. I feel bad for Denny. And honestly, like as a fan of Kyle, like I jumped up off the couch, and then a few minutes later, I sat there and let it sink in. I was like, man, like if there was a year that Denny was going to do it, like it was going to be this year. I haven't talked about it on the show because I wanted to let Jamie and those guys do it.
And they're going to do it.
And they're going to do it and do a great job. So I'm excited to go listen.
Yeah, coming up next, Finish Line Radio right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. For Jim Jacob, I'm Andy. Have a great day, everybody.